Welcome back to Romeo Roots. Today we are going to map 5 generations of my French Canadian ancestors. So it is French Canadian February here for the month of February 2020, and throughout this month I have been researching my French Canadian line, which has been brand new to me, and I am very excited about that. And I have posted all my research, all my breakthroughs and my research strategies, along with one tutorial on romeoroots.com. So if you're interested in following along my research process, or if you think you might have the same ancestors in your tree as I do and you're looking for more information, make sure to visit romeoroots.com and read through those blog posts. So today we are mapping my French Canadian ancestors. I'm excited to do this to see where they all were in Quebec and see the migration patterns. And although this is just French Canadian ancestors, this is something that I've been wanting to share on my YouTube channel for a really long time, mapping generations. This is a really fun exercise for you if you really want to visualize where your ancestors lived, how they migrated around the world or around the country or around a certain region. It's a really good visual exercise. So I am going to do this for my lines, and hopefully you learn something along the way and try to do it for your own lines as well. So to map my ancestors, as I've explained in a ton of previous videos, I use Google My Maps. So to get to your Google My Maps, you're going to go to your Google Drive. You're going to push New, you're going to push More, and you are going to push Google My Maps. So this will bring up a brand new map. Those of you who are familiar with Google My Maps and how it works, this is probably just very unhelpful for you, but there are a lot of people who have never used this feature. So I'm just going to walk you through it really quickly. So this is a blank slate. You have the whole world map here, and you can pinpoint places, you can draw shapes to outline borders of properties. It's just super helpful. So once you've opened up a new map, you can just title it up here. And for this mapping, because I'm doing different generations, I'm going to make multiple layers. So with each layer, you can map, or you can sort of separate the places by groupings. So each layer for me, I'm going to make it a different generation. So layer 1, I'm going to do generation 1. I'm just going to name it Alex Gardner so I can keep track of who I'm working with. Generation 1, Alex Gardner. Then I'm going to push add a layer. Generation 2 is going to be So in generation 1, you can click on them, see how the blue over here changes. Make sure to click on which one you're working with. So generation 1 is Alex Gardner. He was my great-great-grandfather. I know that Alex Gardner was baptized at the Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal. So I'm going to put that as one of the points in my generation 1 layer. Basilique. Okay, here it is. And it pinpoints that for you. So you're going to push add to map. And if you want to remember sort of why you're pinning this, you can do this little edit button right here and make a note to yourself. So that is actually all that I'm doing for layer 1 right now. Layer 2, I'm going to click on this so the blue line is down here. I am going to add a marker, and it's actually going to be the exact same marker. But be sure to click, if you click this where the blue marker is, that's just going to take you to the marker you just made. So, and I want to make a new one in a new color. So I'm going to click down here. Same thing, but it's like a new marker. See how I add a new one? Add to map. I'm going to change the color just so I know that it's layer 2. And this was specific to generation 2 because not only was this the baptism place of Alex Gardner, but this was also the marriage place of his parents, Toussaint de Herdine and Adèle Latoile Italienne. So now, for example, see, you can uncheck each layer. So I'm going to uncheck generation 2, and just the blue shows up from generation 1. If I recheck generation 2, then the pink shows up. It's sort of hard to see because right now they're in the exact same spot, but if you had more of these pinpoints around the map, you would see some popping up and some disappearing, which is really helpful in sort of visualizing the movements of your ancestors and the movements by generation. And that is really all we have for generation 2 as well. I don't have their death places. I do have Adele as a child living with her parents, but we're going to put that under generation 3, which is going to be her parents, Charles L'Etoile Italien and Scholastique Rollin, and also Toussaint's parents. So let's start with these ones. They were married in... Oh, I didn't add it. So helpful. Let's check. They were married in Saint-Joachim de la Pointe-Claire. So let's add in a generation, add layer, generation 3. So starting with Adele's parents, they were married at Saint-Joachim de la Pointe-Claire. It's down here. It's down here on this little inlet. Okay, here's the church. Add to map. I'm going to make generation 3, how about orange? Generation 3 is orange. I'm adding this one, edit, and also in this other layer, we're going to do Toussaint's parents. Okay, so I had to come to my blog to find the note that I made for Toussaint's parents, Paul Desjardins and Marguerite Fredenberg, or Marguerite Christie Fredenberg, and they were married in Repentigny. So let's add that one. Repentigny, Quebec. Add to map. What color is this again? Orange, yellowish orange. And I did also have a note of them living in one of the suburbs of Montreal, based on their son's marriage record. It said that his parents were from this parish. I'm going to leave that out now. I'm just focusing on marriage records right now, so I can sort of just visualize that layer of people's lives. And then at a later date, I'll go in and fill in those other details with censuses, residences, etc., etc. But right now, this is just marriage records. So we have Alex Gardner, we have his parents, we have both sets of his grandparents. Now let's add another layer. Oh, why do I keep clicking down there? Add a layer. Generation 4. Getting really far back, guys. And what is generation 4? I have to click back into my tree here. Generation 4, we have all of these guys. So generation 4 is Scholastique's parents, Louis Rollin and Marguerite Fateau. So let's write that down. Rollin plus Fateau. Rollin and Fateau. They were married where? Let's click on Louis. Now, Louis and Marguerite were married in Saint Genevieve, okay? So let's put that up here. Saint Genevieve. Add to map. What color should we make this one? We don't have green yet. Let's do green. Two. Okay. Who else do we have in this generation? We have Louis Rollin, Marguerite Fateau, then we have the L'Etoiles and the Deschaines. Okay, so let's add that in. Benjamin L'Etoile or Germaine L'Etoile and Marie Deschaines. I'm gonna edit this name. L'Etoile plus Deschaines. And where were they married? As I said, this is very basic. Please don't judge me as a genealogist for what you see here. Like, I promise you I will fill in all this information. I told you this is very, very, very basic baseline genealogy here. And as you see here, this is their supposed marriage record, and I wrote that it warrants more research because I'm not 102% certain that it's the same people. I'm pretty certain, but I'm not perfectly certain. So they were married in La Pocatière, Saint Anne de la Pocatière. So let's go back here. Saint Anne de la Pocatière. Add to map. This one is green. And this is the marriage place of Benjamin L'Etoile and Marie Deschaines. Let's finish this up, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Again, very, very basic. But here, now you can actually visualize where everyone was from. Most of the people were from down here in Montreal and Quebec. One couple was from way up here. Somehow their child made it down to Montreal. So what you can then do is unclick these generations. So let's just start with generation 1. There's generation 1. Then if I click generation 2, they didn't do much moving. Click generation 3, we're slowly going out. And click generation 4, now we're slowly going out again. I like to do this with like one type of record per generation. So for example, besides Alex's baptism record, we really just used marriage records, right? So it gives you a sense of where everyone had that one specific moment in their life, versus if you were to fill this in with everyone, where everyone lived in every single census, and where everyone died, and where everyone, etc., 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 it would get really cluttered. It would be sort of hard to follow, and I like just picking one event and mapping it, so then you can see at a very basic level where people were at this point in their lives. But actually, I either will start a new map or I'll continue on this map and fill in those extra details, because eventually I'm going to use this map as the sort of guiding star to my trip to Quebec, my genealogy trip to Quebec, which is not planned at all right now because I haven't even thought of it, but someday I'm going to Quebec and I'm going to visit all these places. Thanks for watching this video. If this was helpful for you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post tutorials like this and also travel vlogs when I travel to the places that my ancestors lived, because Romeo Roots is all about genealogy tourism. And also follow my Instagram page at Romeo Roots if you have an Instagram and that is something that interests you.